Good day, happy travelers. Seven Continents Travel Agency here today, talking about an excursion that we did on our cruise last week in Roaton, Honduras. And this excursion actually has many different names and actually many different prices. We did this in 2019 in Carnival. It's called Discover Roatan, Monkeys, Sloths, and Macaws. We actually saw several people from Carnival at the excursion that we did. If you're traveling via Norwegian Cruise Lines, it's also called Discover Roatan, Monkeys, Sloths, and Macaws, and it's also $99, but don't forget you have that cruise credit to use, probably $50 per port. And on Royal Caribbean, it's called Monkey and Sloth Experience. It doesn't mention Macaws, but it does actually include Macaws. We did it, and you'll see the pictures to prove it. Price here is $74, and as you know, for you Royal Caribbean travelers, the price varies from 0% off to up to 35% off. I got mine for 30% off, which means the three of us did it for about $134. And if you're shopping for excursions, it does matter which cruise line you do. So let's hop into our experience here today. And you'll see that on this picture here, there is a monkey on my head. Yes, that's my head. That's my receding hairline. The monkey added more hair. And over here is a sloth. So let's hop into what's going on. We ported in Coxton Hole down here. If you're in Princess and Carnival, one of my favorite stops, Mahogany Bay. The beach is fantastic. You're going to be here, and the Daniel Johnson Monkey and Sloth Hangout is up here. So from Mahogany Bay up there, it's about, depending upon traffic, it's a great drive through the city. It's about 20 minutes from here, 15 minutes from Coxton Hole to Mahogany Bay. So it's about 30 minutes out for us. We were just after a big tropical downpour, so the roads were a little bit more moist. But nevertheless, you are ending up right here. And I always like to show a map just to, you can tell your people where you're going just in case it is another country. And, just like any part of the United States, it's always good to tell your people where you're at. This area was very congested. Like I said, there was 3 ships in port, and they were all big boys, Harmony of the Seas, Mardi Gras, and I think Norwegian Encore. But nevertheless, I didn't get close enough to actually read the name. But you go to Daniel Johnson's Monkey and Sloth Hangout. I also like showing this because you can see where you're going to go with the excursion. We disembarked up here, and then we walked in through here, got our sloth experience, cut through the little main area. There's a bathroom here, and then we did the monkeys down here in these cages, and then the macaws up here in these cages. That wasn't cement, it was muddy, so if you like to wear nice, Air Jordans, Birkenstocks, shoes that are, nice, that you don't want to get muddy, it was a real grayish cream mud. Actually, it's still in my shoes, so just calling it out. The transportation for Carnival, they had coaches, like buses, like real buses. From Coxton Hole, Royal Caribbean had a little mini bus, and it was a 2x2. I just want to call it out here that this path is very narrow. So if you have mobility concerns, maybe think about that. I also want to call it, if you're watching this and you're like, hey, I can get there, I don't know if I want to pay that. I'm looking at Viator. I'm booking directly through Daniel Johnson, and I'm noticing that the price is cheaper. There were taxis available. Hundreds and hundreds of taxis. But I also want to call out on this while we're making mention of, hey, this is narrow. It is very crammed, very tight. So you're going to get to know the person next to you and the people walking past you. Very ideal to get the front 2 seats here. And that's a Royal Caribbean, probably Celebrity, maybe Norwegian. It seems like the folks that were in Coxton Hole had the smaller buses, Princess, Carnival, the folks in Mahogany Bay, you are going to get the big coaches. So we also had macaws, all right, and we had monkeys. They sit on your head. At each of these, we spent about maybe 10, 15 minutes in this cage with these birds. Note, I got it. If you see my other videos, I always say, hey, I lucked out. No animals used the bathroom on me this time. Sad friends. I was the bathroom. That bird actually got me. So that it happens. There's a bathroom. I took care of it. But if you're worried about that, it happens. But monkey and sloth didn't get me. We were in the monkey cage for about 15 minutes. There was not a person there this time taking a picture with our group. However, they encouraged people to take pictures with your phones. So that's how I got these pictures. And so about 15, 20 minutes in the monkey cage. The sloth time, it was about 2 minutes. It doesn't do anything. It moves its head from left to right, so there's other pictures of it there. And it's about 2 minutes. Claws are sharp. I did hear some folks express concern, increasing concern about the sharpness of the claws as it hung onto the shoulders. It wasn't digging, or it just really was motionless. It likes to sleep, as you'll discover, 22 hours a day. One final thought as we wrap this up. Do I recommend this? Yeah, it's great, especially if you love animals. There's going to be opportunities to snorkel and do zip lines and water parks and all sorts of stuff. To that end, this excursion actually is combinable with many other things. So if you go to like your Royal Caribbean page, for example, you got Sloth standalone experience. You can do zip line and Sloth. You can do submarine and Sloth. There's all sorts of, you can even add chocolate, you can add iguanas, so there's no wrong way to sloth. Carnival, last check, those excursions come in and out. Right now it's just the standalone experience. I'll make note that you could probably, as long as you're in port, Mahogany Bay, you're usually there until about 5. If you do one of these other excursions and they're a couple hours long, you can take the taxi out there or probably add on to it. There are additional times in which you can do it. And right now, Norwegian is not combining it with other things, but you can kind of, if it's important to you, you can certainly, with the times and the starting times and the excursion times, see it from there. So, hey, do I recommend it? Yes, it was memorable. Memories were made. And my shirt, saved the day. If you have any questions, drop me a line in the comments or email me through my contact information. Always happy to talk about my excursions. And I hope you travel safely.